Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing okay and I'm not too stressed in the run up to the final advanced tax exam next week. This video, all I'm going to do is just give you a few hints and tips on how to approach the exam and some last minute comments before next week. Well, the first thing we'll do is go through the exam structure, which is on the page here. Now, if you look at your exam, you know you've got your big section A question. Well, in your section A question, you've got your two compulsory questions. Question number one is your biggie, yeah? Question number one is your, should we say, Mount Everest, which is your 35 marks. And this 35 marks will include your 4 professional marks. Now, Mount Everest can be conquered with practice. So what you need to make sure you are doing here is practicing lots and lots and lots of questions prior to the exam, of course. Now, you have to know your knowledge in order to pass this exam, yeah? You have to know the rules, you have to know how to apply those rules, because anything can come up here in the question 135 marker. Any tax can come up, and any tax mixed with another tax does randomly come up here. So what you need to think about is, well, what can I do? The first thing you need to make sure you do not forget your professional marks. So am I asked to do a report? Am I asked to do an email? I need to make sure I get those marks in, because they are easy, 4 marks, and also it gives you a bit of a structure into how you are going to approach that question. Then you also need to think, well, at the end of that question, I have my very basic, simple requirements, which is going to give me my mark allocation. But then within the question, I have my detailed requirements as well. Now, with those detailed requirements, what you need to make sure you are doing is breaking them down into the parts that are required. So if there's more than one thing to do in part A, make sure you reference that it is separate. It is a separate requirement that you have to do. Make sure you're looking at the mark allocation and acknowledging that, okay, this is the first part of part A. This is the second part of part A. There could be 3 to 4 different things that you have to do. Don't just read part A and think, okay, I have to do this once. There could be more things hidden in that requirement there. So make sure you read the detailed requirement very carefully. Make sure you know how much time you should be spending on each part, on each requirement based on your mark allocation. Second thing you need to do is read the question very, very carefully. There is, of course, going to be lots and lots of information there for you to digest, but you just need to skim through it very well, not skim, you have to go through it very, very detailed and make sure you're pulling out anything that you feel might be relevant to those requirements that you have just read. Please take your time. Please don't rush, because if you are answering something that you think should be answered when the requirement is actually something different, you might be doing the right thing from your perspective, but it's not where the marks are available. So just take the time in this first question to ensure that you are reading everything properly and carefully and you have a plan of attack. Prior to the exam, you need to make sure you have done a question at least 2 to 3, 4 times and stuck to time before the exam, so you know how much time pressure you're going to be under. Question number 2, your 25 marker. Again, a big question, but not as big as your 35 marker. There's no professional marks here. Again, any topic area can come up. Again, make sure you're checking for your requirements, the simple requirements with the mark allocations, and then within the question again, make sure you are looking at your detailed requirements. See how much time you should be spending on those areas. Now, in section A as well, what you are going to have are ethical marks. 5 marks usually on ethics. That can be in question 1 or question 2. So please make sure as well you do not miss your ethical marks. So you've got your ethical marks, you've got your professional marks. That's 9 marks then available in the exam without having to do any calculation, which is great. So make sure you do not miss those bits. Then if we move on to section B, you've got your 2 20 markers. Well, these are a lot smaller, of course, than section A. Any topic area can come up here. But of course, again, you still need to be prepared, make sure you know all of the content. It isn't just a case in the exam of knowing all of the advanced tax knowledge. what you need to make sure is that your basic tax knowledge is cemented as well, because that of course will come into the exam. So your basics from that previous tax paper are brought into this paper, and they are assumed knowledge. So please make sure you're cemented on that knowledge, and you know exactly how to treat every different item with that. What I want to obviously make sure you do is tell you about the time allocation. Make sure you're sticking to time. You need to think 1.8 minutes per mark, and therefore with that, look at the mark allocation, break it down into the separate requirements, and make sure you're not sticking, or you are sticking, sorry, to the time. Now, in your exam, the first thing you need to do is concentrate on passing. Concentrate on passing. This is sticking to time on every single part of the question, doing what you know. Then, if you have time at the end of the exam, you can then go back, review what you have done, and then of course add any additional bits in that you haven't had chance to do so yet, or that you weren't necessarily sure of the first time you saw this. It is crucial that you stay calm in this exam, because there is lots and lots going on, lots of information to take in, but please just take a breath, relax with it a little bit, and answer the question as you have read it. I just want to wish you all the very best of luck, and I hope to see you all very soon.